Hello, Andy. This is Colin. I won't be able to get in tonight. I'm sweating like a pig.
Hi, David here, back again, One Up Gaming, episode 358 of the One Up Game podcast. And these are the things we've been doing this week. So first of all, I would just say that we have got a drive hub for for a racing wheel. Now the drive hub is like a little tiny square box with 3 sort of ports in. So if you've got a PlayStation racing wheel, you can only use these wheels with either PC or PlayStation. If you have a Xbox wheel, you can use these wheels with Xbox or PC, but you can't use a PS4 wheel on an Xbox or an Xbox wheel on a PS4 or a PS5 or Xbox Series X, whatever. And this little device is about 80 quid, 90 quid, something like that. And it allows you to put, I've got a PS4 wheel and racing seat sort of configuration. And I just can't be bothered to pay another £200-400 for a nice wheel for the Xbox. So I thought I'd give this a go. So I've bought this, and you connect the little box to the Xbox. You connect the little box to your control pad to give it the signal, and then you input the racing wheel into the box, and it configures the wheel to work on the Xbox. So you can use your PlayStation wheel on your Xbox system or your Xbox wheels on your PlayStation systems, and it is an amazing feat of engineering. I don't know how they've done it. It's really good. I think that if that's the case, then they should have just made all these wheels compatible with all the devices. It's just the easier. But yes, it's expensive, but it saves you £200-300 in the long run because you don't have to buy 2 separate wheels. So yeah, we're loving that. I had a quick full day with it yesterday. A mate came around, we had a good go at some racing games, testing it all out. Might need to do an update on the firmware because a couple of the games didn't work, a couple of games did work. It's just a bit hit and miss. A lot of the big budget games worked fine. It was just that some of the cheaper indie games it didn't really work. So I will also say we have an Anbenek RG35XX, and this is it looks like a mini Game Boy. You know, when you're actually playing with it, it does look like a little Game Boy, but it's got like 4 trigger buttons at the back, 4 face buttons, start, select, the menu button and the D-pad, and it is so small, so tiny. It's cute as. It's got a USB-C charger. It's got a mini HDMI out, so you can put it into the TV. That side, it's got the volume rocker. That side, it's got the power button and the reset button, and then it's got 2 micro SD card slots, so you can put your ROMs and games and that on there. If I go to, it does PS1, Capcom arcade games, Neo Geo, the is it FBA? It's like MAME. It does MAME as well. GBA, NES, SNES, Mega Drive, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, PC Engine, Neo Geo Pocket Color, Game Gear, and the Wonder Swan. So that's what's on there at the moment. I am sure that when you go onto the Game Boy Advance, I was going to say I thought it had Game Boy Advance, but it is so much smaller than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger than what it ended up being, and I do love it. It's like a cute little thing. I was amazed by how small it was. I don't know if I'm going to flash the ROM and put a different ROM on there, like the Onion OS or something it's called, I don't know. But I'll have a quick look into stuff, see how things go, and see if that's what I'm going to be doing with that. So, proper games being played this week. NBL The Show 23, and this one, it's just NBL The Show. It's just baseball. It looks the same, it plays the same. It might have a couple of new people in that you play as, because they'll have the new rosters, new squads, all that kind of thing. Might have new kits, new stuff. I guess it's the same as like someone saying to me it's just like FIFA. It's the same game, it's just a little bit updated here and there. And I don't know why, I guess it's that I'm not American, but everyone like loves these games, but I myself thought they were a bit boring and I didn't quite like it. But yeah, it looks good, it plays well, I guess, it looks nice, but I'm not a big baseball fan, so I guess that's the main thing there. I'm going to get the name wrong, I do apologise. Next game, Inku Illuminati. It's like an ink drawing strategy game, platform-ish. You have to position your people on the platform and you can like fire and fight and do things. It was a nice little game, but again, I got bored of it really fast. I think the graphical style of it kept me going a little bit longer than normal, but it was just a little bit too simple and whimsical for myself. The next game, you might think of the similar sort of attitude, 2D and Top D. Now this is a puzzle platform game with two separate styles of game. One is a 2D platformer and the other one is a top-down 3D platformer sort of ish, and you have to play the game and you have to go so far on the 2D part of it, and then there'll be a bit where there's nothing to jump on. Then you have to switch the button to go into the 3D sort of version, top-downy view, and go into and get the position going. You can get the 2D one back and jump on the bits you've just set up. It's a bloody good little game. I enjoyed it. Graphically, it's anything amazing, but it does the job amazingly well. It looks nice, smooth, clear. You understand what you're doing. I love the mechanics. The puzzle platforming bits are really good. The puzzles are nice. The platforming is really good, really tight. And I think in these sort of games, you just need that platformer section to be so good, like the Mario sort of games, you know, the Super Mario games. Next game we played was Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, and this one is the Star Wars Racer game that came out on the Dreamcast and the N64, I think it was. And I still think it's probably the best Star Wars Episode 1 game that they released in that time frame. This is like the HD redo-ish that they released on the Xbox and the PS4 sort of thing a few years ago, and it still plays nice, it still looks nice, it's very clean, very minimal, but the speed's there and it's nice. It's a nice little game. I'd recommend it as a Star Wars-y sort of game. It probably is one of the better ones. The next game that I played is Agent Intercept. Now this one is I guess you'd say it probably started off as a mobile sort of game. Very simple, not quite top-down view, but like an isometric style, with a car that you can move up and down the road, and you have to try and ram things, shoot things, dodge things, and it looks nice, it plays nice, and then it keeps cutting with these stories, which is like a really bad, punny, baby version of a James Bond sort of movie where the guy who creates all the technology does a run and ends up going to the bad guys and all this kind of stuff. It was a fun, stupid game, and I enjoyed my time with it. Next game, Killer Frequency. Now this game is supposed to be like a VR game, but I played it on the Xbox Series X, so there's no VR headset for that. So it's just a 3D first person sort of game. But you start off in the radio sort of like booth, and you're playing records, playing cassettes, playing jingles, listening to the person next to you telling you what to do next, and then like you take calls, and then there's a call saying that it's a police officer and there's a murder and there's people getting killed, and you are there trying to guide people around and help people, and then you can kind of, once you do a few minutes, the doors unlock and you can go out and do bits and bobs outside the stuff. It's a really gripping little story. It's a fun little game. I can imagine in VR it could be a really, really immersive sort of game, and I like this sort of game. It's not over the top dramatic, it's just keeps you interested, keeps you going. I've just enjoyed it so much, and it's got really cool 80s music. What more do you need? And the last game that we played this week is Filthy Animals Heist Simulator, and it's like, oh god, how do you explain it? The old Grand Theft Auto sort of games, top-down view, but it's like full 3D, but it's got the physics of like the Octodad sort of thing. So like your little characters are bouncing all over and falling all over. You got to pick things up, move things around, try and get into safes and stuff without getting the alarms going. And it's a stupid, fun little game, and I think it's like a 4 or 5 player game. So if you have got a lot of friends, get your headsets on, get into this game. It's a fun, stupid game, and I really enjoyed what I played of it. It's a good little game, and I'd recommend it. So that's what we've been playing this week. Again, we have the Boosteroid series. I think this week it's the Sonic Mania game we played, and we have the normal weekly stuff. So on a Monday it's the UK Top 40, on a Tuesday it's Boosteroid, on a Wednesday it's Which is Best, on a Thursday we have the retro game, on Friday we have the podcast, which is what we're doing now, on Saturday we have the games we played this week, and on a Sunday we have the weekly news. So that is what we've been doing. So it's me, David, One Up Gaming, episode 358. Thank you for watching so far. We'll have a quick break and back with this week's news.